Hello and welcome to the Bodysurf podcast with your budgie boys, Tim and Owie, hydrated by whatever's going around. And we've got a big get on the show. Owie, who have we got on the show?
Rikki Gilbey. Guess what? Is this the fourth time?
Is it fourth time?
I think it's your fifth.
Yeah, it's good though. You're looking good.
Oh, I'm holding it together, man. Holding it together.
Now, Timmy, the new setup's good, mate.
Studio
audience.
Rikki was just saying the first time he came on the podcast, when was that? Back in 2017, 18?
I don't know. How long have we been going?
We've been doing this 3 years, I think. So you said it was a more professional setup.
You boys had it sorted then.
What about now?
We used to record the podcast at Piermont Studio 2GB.
Yes.
And we got kicked out. We weren't conservative enough.
Yeah, that's true, Tim. But look at us now. We've got all the bells and whistles.
It's the big time.
Yeah. We're here.
A lot more bells and whistles you did before. There's no punching the board and stuff anymore. Not yet, anyway.
I like how we're just not worried about audio anymore. Like, it's shit, and that's fine.
What's shit about the audio? This is crystal clear. This is Dolby surround sound.
No, but the external sound. Like, I remember when we first started, you were setting up like soundproof screens and everything. You were like, this is a studio time.
Yeah.
Now, old mate's just over there playing with his keys. Drinking his red wine.
Yeah. No, I like background noise, you know. It makes it feel more natural.
Yeah,
You
it
know.
does.
You know, we're not trying to hide anything. We're on a main road here.
Yeah. Yeah. The audience can tell.
Yeah. Rikki, how have you been? Because it's been a while since we caught up.
Did you have COVID?
I've had COVID, yeah.
Oh.
I went to the UK and brought it back with me.
Right.
Patient zero over here.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been good. I mean, my family has expanded since I last saw you guys. So I've got a 6-week-old back home. It's actually timing out. She was born similar time to my son Atlas. And I don't know if you remember back at the WAMPOF 2019, I got to give him like the Circle of Life Simba lift at the end of the thing.
Yeah.
She's going to be pretty much exactly the same age
How good.
as he was then. So I'm hoping to repeat that with her.
Who was driving that drone?
That was Dean Jezard.
Yeah. I was very worried that it was going to swoop in and swipe your child like a magpie.
But yeah,
Have you seen those videos? Like, there's one particular video. I hope it's not going to happen to your child. But like, this eagle swoops in and just takes the baby, and then off she got. Like, and it's fully legit. Like, it drops the baby. The baby's okay. The baby lives, but like, yeah. It's a full thing. So,
are you worried about?
I'll keep an eye for eagles.
Yeah, good.
We've got the Australian bird book over there. We should go through that and just see what deadly creatures are going to attack your children.
Yes. No, we probably won't. But Rikki, it is really good to have you here. We are going to talk all things Australian Bodysurfing Classic. I guess the first thing on people's lips is why the name change? You know, we've got such a good thing going with WAMPOF. It's a very well-known brand, I guess, in the community. The name change. What's the go?
Yeah, I agree. It's WAMPOF and WAMP has been kind of at the heart of everything from the beginning. But I felt like this year, it didn't really do the event itself justice. Like, it's a pretty informal name, but in order to spread the sport of bodysurfing and promote it on a bigger scale, people need to understand what the event is just from the title. So last time we was talking to some kind of TV outlets and some big media outlets, and their first question was, what is WAMPOF? You know, and now it basically says exactly what it is straight up. So I think it's easier to promote. I think it gives the winners a little bit more kudos amongst their friends and family when they say that they're the Australian Bodysurfing Classic champions as opposed to the WAMPOF champions, because that doesn't really mean much to anyone outside of our community.
Yes.
And yeah, WAMPOF's got a lot of power within our community, but outside of that, it doesn't really get much reach. So I wanted to reach that broader community and spread the word of bodysurfing.
Yeah, fantastic. And I'm just wondering if there's going to be any bigger gets, I guess, with the name change. Do you think it's going to bring over some of those names that we often talk about here on the podcast? Do you think Mike Stewart's heard about what's going on in Maroubra? Do you think, obviously Mark Cunningham's been a part of WAMPOF for many years and will hopefully be coming back for the ABC. Do you think we could pull some big names and get this thing really cranking?
And that's the plan. I think after this year, hopefully we get a bit of exposure around the event, media-wise, and we put it on the map. And it's it's already a destination event for a lot of people in the global community. Like if they can, they would get here, and there are a few international travellers coming over for the event. But once we get the word spread around the Australian Bodysurfing Classic and it becomes a household name, there is no doubt that it will start to attract a wider global audience. And we'll get Mike in, but whose team's he going to go on?
Oh, we'll take him.
We need everyone we can get. Now, with the name change, there's been just talks around the community that kind of go, I liked WAMPOF. I like the organic nature of it. At the heart of Australian body surfing, we are all just battlers doing our own thing, having a carry on. I guess formalising it a bit kind of makes it a bit more serious. So, like, where's the room going to be still going forward for those guys that just want a little bit of a carry on and a booze and a surf? Okay. But then, in turn with that, having the more serious body surfers going, no, actually I want to compete because I want to show off my skill. I want the prestige of being the Australian Bodysurfing Classic champion. Where's the middle ground, and how are we going to appeal to both camps?
I think, look, there's already a WAMP event on our calendar. It's WAMP Camp. Like, WAMP Camp was the original WAMP event. I originally piggybacked off that one to make it the WAMP off to kind of settle the banter that we was having at WAMP Camp. Yeah. And so WAMP Camp can rightly have the WAMP ethos back. And look, the event still isn't a serious event. Yeah. It's still a community-focused, fun-focused event. Like, the actual winner isn't the main goal, really, I'm sure, for most people. As much as people would love to win, you're not going to have a terrible time if you don't win, and that's the goal. So it definitely hasn't lost any of its community focus. It's definitely not anything more competitive or more serious. It's just a way to put body surfing on the map and give it the exposure that it deserves.
How are regos going for the Australian Bodysurfing Classic?
So we're sold out on team slots, and we've got about 50% of those teams, individuals, have registered. So we do need to get individuals within the teams to sign up. But we'll be closing registrations in 2 or 3 weeks. So we do need to get people moving and get people signed up.
Is there anyone you want to name and shame?
No. There's a few teams that are pretty slack, but I think they're just organising internally as to who is within their team. And one thing I will say is a lot of people have registered and not signed up for the after party.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's a thing where they weren't aware that they are a separate ticket or whether they're just busy that evening. But if you have signed up for the event itself and haven't signed up for the after party, do so.
Well, the idea is that next year, you can still bring it in this year, have points allocated for people who come to the after party because that's the main show.
We would clean up. We would absolutely clean up. That's why we do it.
Yeah, we do it for the after party.
Well, the after party is, if you think about the time, it goes on as long as the event itself.
Yes, it does.
The event itself is from like 7 till 2 p.m. So what's that? 7 hours or something. Yeah. And then the after party is from 3 till...
Or finish when you want.
Finish when you want. So it's probably longer. So it's the main event.
Yeah.
It's the last and main event of the evening.
I've been telling the Senate this for years, boys. It is. That's the goal. No, the day itself is a cracker. And, we've had many years of this event really competed in not great body surfing conditions, let's be fair. And fingers crossed for this year, that's going to change. But saying that, when it was at Cronulla, really good weather, not much swell, still a good day on the beach. Last time we had the competition at Maroubra, pretty sloppy, pretty cold.
Everything was terrible.
Perfect conditions for us.
But it was still heaps of fun, and nobody had a bad word about it. So,
and that's proof, right, that it's all community focused. Like the fact that we had terrible waves and terrible weather, like we couldn't have been battered by much more.
thunderstorm right at the start of
clearing
kickoff.
of the beach, like it was awful in every other way, apart from the fact that everybody was there, everybody stuck around, and everybody had a great time regardless. It's almost as if the weather and the swell are irrelevant. It's just gathering of the tribe is the main thing, which is why, like, you know, obviously I hope this doesn't happen, but God forbid the conditions are so wild that we can't hold the event. The party is still going to be super fun.
Yeah.
And the party will go ahead no matter what, in whatever weather conditions. So that's like plan F.
Yes.
Like if everything fails, just do the after party, and that'll still be fun, I'm sure.
How do you settle the winner?
We'll do a fin sprint in the car park.
So, I like that. That's good.
Now, talk us through the day and the comp. Are there any big changes for 2022?
No major changes that I can see right now. The itinerary for the day is still kind of the same, but it's still up for discussion. So at the moment, I don't know, what do you guys think? Last time I thought the run sheet went pretty well. I thought the events worked pretty well. We haven't really had much feedback. I think because post that event, like I haven't personally been able to attend any of the future community catch-ups like WAMP camps and stuff. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you
Don't
think,
workshop it with us, mate.
do you think, do you want to see any new events in it, or?
Well, he's a real ideas man, this guy.
Yeah.
So if anyone's got some
Hit us.
plans for this event,
I'm a fan of the boat race as part of the I think the event, the team's part of the event, runs really well. And I think in a suggestion of even with the name change, when you kind of floated the idea, the Australian Bodysurfing Classic, oh dear, gee. So we're getting all the ambience here tonight, Timmy. The Australian Teams Bodysurfing Classic, you know, is a real for me, because it is celebrated as a teams event, you know, and it's a bit wild. It's tag teamy. I still like that element of it, and I think if going forward, I don't know if you can do it this year, but trying to incorporate that idea more, unless you want to kind of pioneer it as a more individual event, because it's very unique in the sense that, like, having a tag team event where you're having 10 people swim in a relatively small amount of time.
It feels small though, but remember those heats are 60 minutes long.
Yeah, but we have Bondi in our team.
But it goes fast, right?
Yeah,
those
it
60
does.
minutes go fast. And when you add it up, if you divide it amongst your team, like, people are getting effectively in those events like 5-6 minutes in the water, maybe. I mean, it's up to the individual as to whether they get a good wave early on or not. But you don't realize how many waves you can actually clock up in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, that's the beauty of body surfing, right? It's wave after wave. You can just jump in and get loads, but yeah, those 60 minutes go pretty fast. But I agree, the team aspect of it is at the heart of the whole competition.
Yeah.
It's why I started it in the first place, because I'd gone to a few individual competitions and I personally didn't quite like the competitiveness in it and the individual, like, aspect of, you know, everyone hustling for position. And I think adding it as a team event takes that whole thing away, and it's like people are rooting for their own team members and you don't have that individual competitiveness.
Yeah.
So I agree, and those events aren't going anywhere, the team focused tag team ones. I'm pretty sure it's going to stay pretty similar to last time. So because it was a while ago, I'll jog your memory. I think we started, and it's dependent upon the conditions on the day, we started with the length of ride or the tricks event. Actually, forgive me, we started with an individual event last time, so where you pick like one of your body surfers from each squad and everyone cheers them on. Then we do like length of ride, so you're scored on how long you can ride the wave in the green part of the wave, ideally, but given the conditions, if we had it last time, it was how much can you swim in the white water. And then the tricks tag team event, and then we do another individual one, and then into the fin sprint at the end.
So my suggestion would be the fin sprint, 4 by 100 meters.
Yeah, that we have been talking about that. And Billy Slater wants the length added. He goes, make it a half marathon. just throw it in there. Have it running while the individual events are on, so it gives someone else things to do. You know, there are many opportunities to increase on this.
We can map out the Maroubra to Bondi track.
Yes. Yeah, why not? That's right. Back onto the set events, and I'm not going away from the 4x100. I think that's a very good idea.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Good.
It's pretty good. The length of ride and the tricks event, that caused a bit of confusion last year. Like, people are kind of going, what? And it's very simple. When you boil it down, it's very simple. Length of ride, tricks. But I think people get a bit confused when they go in the water and they're like, oh, like, how do I make this ride look interesting? Where some of the most of the points, as you said, were just riding the whitewash on that day, because you couldn't do much more. But then you get a ride like Keeliti, and he's like popped across the face of it, chucked a couple of spins in, front flip, back into a section, tucked under a little barrel. Like, how are you competing with that? Doesn't matter if it's length of ride, mate. That's 10 points. So how do you differentiate that? You know, it's like, are you literally going to go length of ride? We're going from point A to point B, and that's it.
It's simple.
I think
prop comedy, yeah. That's what
yeah.
you're doing, pulling out the props.
That's right. Like, is there more points for? So, for instance, last time I got the water polo gag going, and it was a bit of a dig at Bait Bay, because they're all water polo players, and I love that we got the drone footage of it as well. But, like, are you getting prop comedy? Like, is prop comedy getting more points?
No.
Well, see, what's the point? What is even the point?
Like, to be honest, I think it's less confusing than if you go to a standard body surfing event, where if the conditions are bad, you don't know what to do in terms of how to score.
Yeah.
And what happens is you get people doing spins in the whitewater.
Yeah.
Like, they catch a whitewater and they do as many spins as they can in the whitewater.
And it looks horrendous.
And it's just, it's not body surfing. That's not
No.
what you do. No one does that unless it's in competition. So if you have a very clear outline of what the rules are and what you're being judged on in this event. Say we're talking about the length of ride event. How long can you ride the wave in the most effective part of the wave? And make those points very, very clear. This is what you are being judged on. Because when you go out there and it's just a free reign for you to do whatever you want, you don't know whether to try to ride the wave for as long as you can, or whether you should just do a few spins and then duck back off again, or whether you should pull into a short closeout barrel and that's the wave over, or what. Like, it's because there's so much, so many options, and the judges are just looking for something different.
Yeah.
I feel in a lot of those competitions, you feel like when you're there and people are judging, they go, 2 spins and then a roll into the whitewash. Like, we'll give it a bit more because he did 2 spins. Whereas then one guy might just ride it all the way across the face, and they'll be like, oh, nice long ride, and score it a little bit lower than 2 spins in the whitewash. And like, I just find that whole thing for the judges and for the competitors a bit confusing.
And that's been kind of the part of the problem with body surfing competitions in Australia, at least. Getting the judging panel to kind of judge equally, and what's the criteria on how things are being scored, because I mean, the spectators on the shore, at least for the competitions I've been involved in, have judged things completely differently and awarded people the win where the judging panel's awarded it to someone else just because they're looking at different things. And it's exactly what you said. So how are you going to combat that this year? Have you got your judging panel set out yet? Is the criteria kind of set? Is it changed from last time?
So last time, like, we experienced exactly what you said in the first few one-offs that we did.
Yeah.
And last time we did it, I keep saying last year, but back in 2019, I made a point of combating that. So last time we did it, we made sure we had a judging panel, and it was essentially the same judging panel for the whole day. So you stick with the same 3 judges.
So what we had: Rowan Churchill, Nick Brabot, and who was the third?
Jackson.
Okay.
And they judged throughout the whole thing. So you have that consistency. Each judge obviously is looking for something a little bit different for their own, what they see as a good wave. And then that across the 3 judges that will even out. I think what happens at a lot of events, judging a body surfing competition, especially in small conditions, is really hard. And it's really taxing because they're constantly staring and watching people, and you might get one good wave come through and everybody's trying to catch it and you're seeing 3 people, and it's tiring. And what happens is in a lot of events is the judges swap out all day. Like a couple of judges will judge one heat and then they'll swap, and it'll be another couple of judges and then another couple of judges. And like you get that big variety. So then, like you say, like one event might come in and, someone looks at something and sees something they like different to someone else, and it's a completely different score. So I've tried to combat that by having 3 set judges, each one with a very clear picture of what they're judging on, and they remain consistent throughout the whole competition.
Have you worked out who's going to be judging this year?
Not firmed up, no.
Is Belly Slater going to be ground announcer?
I can confirm that Belly Slater will be returning.
I think he's back on the scene, isn't he?
The king is back.
He's back. Yeah, it's happening. He sent me a picture of Chris Hemsworth having a body surf the other day.
Oh yeah, with the wampa.
Yeah, and that's our complete conversation. Me and Belly, we just say it's happening. Send a link to someone body surfing who's famous, and then silence, radio silence, and then it's happening again. Someone else. On the judging, hand surfing. I say hand surfing, body surfing. I guess without a plane and with a plane. So I'm guessing there's going to be people that are. That will do both on the day. Will that be judged separately? What's the how are you going to,
there is in this event, there is no differentiation between with or without a hand plane.
Yes.
The heats themselves are designed to favor towards or against a hand plane. So for instance, the length of ride event is favored towards those riding hand planes, and you will see 99% of people in those events will be using a hand plane because it assists you in riding the wave for longer and you ride a bit faster.
I would disagree.
But then you look at the tricks event, and it's quite hard to perform advanced tricks whilst wearing a hand plane.
Yes.
So most people will opt out of a hand plane for the tricks event. So you can use a hand plane at any point during the event, and you won't get judged more or less for doing so, but it is kind of, I guess, advisable to think about which heats you want to use a hand plane in and which ones you don't. Like the whole idea of it is it tests and scores you on the full rounded aspect of body surfing. So your tricks, your length of ride, how you can assess a wave and catch it and ride it.
Should we jump to the fin sprint? This is the big climax of the day. It's the last thing we do before we head to the after party, and it's...
Maybe it should be a run to the after party.
Who gets there first? I think we would smash that.
There's a coach this year, so you shouldn't have to worry about that.
Oh, yeah, the courtesy bus. You'll be front and centre on the courtesy bus, are we?
Yes, I will.
So the rules for the fin sprint, it's 4 by 25 metres. You've got to wear the fins you have swum in for the day. Mm-hmm. And besides that, I guess there's not really any other rules besides a clean baton changes.
Baton, don't do an OE is in the rules.
What are you talking about?
Significantly cheating is not allowed.
Yeah, we've been there, mate. We've been there. We've been over this.
So
like doping,
blood doping.
You can dope as much as you want.
Rule change, like just suggestion. We've spoken about like bringing ring-ins for this part of the event, just to make it a bit more exciting. Like our mate Robbie in the Budgie Boys can't compete this year, but his wife, beach sprint champion. Mate, she didn't compete. That's all right. Just ring her in for the fin sprint side of things. Like we could get all types of people. Matt Shervo.
That all comes down to, are you the team captain?
Yeah.
Well, that's down to you. You got to pick your squad of 10.
I know, but I don't want them to body surf. I just want them to fin sprint.
Sacrifice one of the body surfers for a fin sprinter. That's a decision that you have to make.
Have we got a specialised sprinter on the team?
No.
Yeah.
No, we don't. No. So far, it's our eldest competitor, Daryl.
Yeah, right.
I think he's going to take your spot.
Oh, lovely. Yep.
Yes. And then... yeah, we'll see who makes it up for fourth, because Wolfo's not running. No. And we should bring Wolfo in on this.
It's Wolfo.
I've been waiting patiently.
Mate, do you have any suggestions for how to change the day? Do you have any comments about the Australian Bodysurfing Classic going forward?
Oh, no, I'm just looking forward to it, really.
Yeah.
As you were saying before, like the team aspect of it, I guess I've been to 2 Womp-Offs before, and having not surfed in the individuals, in 2 Womp-Offs I've caught 4 waves. That's the only downside, I guess. But I guess the people like me that are at the event, that's not what they're there for.
Yeah.
It's more just to have fun with your mates, cheer on your team, and have a good time. So, yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
I feel like the only way we could get people more wave time, like yourself, who's not necessarily doing one of the individual heats or anything else, is just to extend the day out longer. But again, I've been to some events that, you go from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Everyone's so exhausted by the end of the day. You're outside all day, facing whatever conditions you are. Like, come 2 o'clock, people start thinking about beer and food, and you want to ride that high into the after party award ceremony. So, yeah, I mean, we could make the event longer. We could spread it out over 2 days, but I think we just try to keep it short and sweet and maximize the fun.
Yeah.
What's the after party going to look like this year, Ricky?
It's going to be very similar to what it was 2019. Just a big, open, nice brewery, lots of cold beers, lots of food, lots of partying, lots of gathering of the tribes, lots of awards.
Lovely.
Where is it at?
Rocks Brewing Co. in
Okay.
Alexandria.
Yep.
We've also jumped on board as a major sponsor, which is amazing.
Yeah,
So
jump
big
through the
shout.
major sponsors, actually, because a few changes from the last time you went around.
Yeah, well, actually, this is a Bodysurf podcast exclusive.
Oh,
we
okay.
actually
Here we go. Play the sting.
we signed on
It's-
some.
It's Woofer.
We agreed yesterday, actually, on some of the major sponsors. So from here on in, Defin are the major sponsor of the event outside of WAW.
Nice.
So we will be referring to the event in its long form from now on as the WAW Handplanes Australian Bodysurfing Classic, powered by Defin.
Oh, that's good.
I like that. That's nice.
Yeah. Hydrated by Hairy Man Brewery. So you stole that for us. We need some royalties, mate.
Loose.
Loose. It is loose, but that's
Also-
good.
Also, new sponsor, but very relevant sponsor, Stealth.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Stealth Fins are jumping on board as a sponsor as well.
And Defin don't mind that?
No, we've settled it all. They're all more than happy. It's a rising tide floats all boats in the body surfing world. So, Defin, major sponsor. Stealth coming in at the second tier in combination with Rocks Brewing Co.
Because I wonder if you want to be known as a good body surf fin, or if you want to be known as a good sprinting fin.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, look, I think there's a clear winner between Defin and Stealth in terms of a sprinting fin.
Really?
Stealth are very rigid fins, so
Yeah.
incredible in the water.
Not so much.
They haven't really put much thought into their fin design for out of the water, which is maybe some feedback we can provide.
Yeah.
But Defin's, the release of the MC fin was purely a fin sprint.
it
move.
was.
Like, there is no question about that.
Yeah.
I'm sure Belly had a part to play, just taking some royalties. But yeah, I mean, they'll realize that on the day.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, they'll see people trying to run in their fins and be like, we need to change something.
Any other sponsors you want to quickly mention?
We're keeping it pretty short this year.
Yeah, nice.
Pretty small number of decent sponsors. We do actually have a charity partner this year for the first time. So the charity partner for the event is Surfers for Climate.
Okay.
We've just recently signed them on as well, which we're super excited about. So we'll be donating some of the funds from the day, potentially a raffle during the after party, and donating all proceeds to Surfers for Climate.
Lovely.
Couple of teams. I want to know about the teams that are competing. Because there has been a change from the last time Womp-Off ran at the Australian Bodysurfing Classic.
So are there officially 10 teams that have registered?
So far, there are 14
14.
teams.
14?
Well, 15 teams, have registered.
15, wow.
A couple of those teams will merge to form one team. But yeah, we've got some new teams in there. There's the Jezza Mad Dogs from Gerringong.
So these are new guys on the scene.
Brand new guys, brand new guys, brand new teams. We've got a new team from Newcastle, the Nui Bodysurfers. There's a team from Bondi, a new addition, the Clown Heads. There's a full squad from Coogee, the Coogee Bodysurfers, which
Yeah,
you know they're. I personally don't know who they are, so a brand new squad from my perspective. The Maroubra Bodysurfers have made a split, and there's a lot of new faces in there and created their own team. Who else was there?
Well, you boys are still having a crack and
The East Sydney Bodysurfers will still be there.
aiming for a podium finish again?
5th year running. Yeah, absolutely. For gold this time, though.
Oh, yeah.
Although Robbie Meldrum is supposedly team captain and hasn't actually pulled a team together yet, so no one knows if they're competing for ESBS.
So a few more teams. I guess when we were chatting about the name change and kind of in the early stages, we were going, all right, a bit more formal. It was sad to see people like the Goldie Sliders not sign up in there, not get a team down there. Central Coast Bodysurfers not competing again. Two great teams in their own right.
South Coast not making it
South
back.
Coast not making it back. It kind of makes me a bit sad because really, like, ideally, it would be so good to have a team from each region, you know. And yes, you want to surf with your mates and you want to hang out, but then kind of we've got such a like Sydney-based or Sydney kind of pooled group of people, and with the event already being kind of stretched to its capacity in regards to like a functional time to run the competition during the day, would you look at changing that in the future and going, all right, well, we're going to actually restrict it to this amount of teams from Sydney?
It's a pain point for the event because we do have to cap it, and I mean we've had like 15 teams register, but there's already a reserves list. There's already a backup list. There's teams that want to enter that there isn't a spot for at the moment, and that is just because we can't fit any more on the day. Now, I'm sad to not see the likes of the Goldie Sliders, the South Coast, the Sunny Coast guys coming back, but at the same time, that opens it up for new squads.
Yeah.
And like rather than just keeping it as like an internal event for our little internal community, it's becoming broader, which I want to open it up to as many people as possible, but there is that frustration that we do have to cap it at a certain number. So, yeah, I think it is sad that they're not coming back, but also it's great to see some new names and new squads.
Yeah, and I guess for people listening to the podcast and maybe they've just clicked on this because they want to hear about the Australian Bodysurfing Classic, these are the teams that are competing. So we've got East Sydney Bodysurfers, Bait Bay Body Bashers, the Cobras, which I reckon will give Defin a red hot crack this year.
Remember, 2019, if Defin Hawaii didn't win the fin sprint,
yeah,
Cobras were going to take it
yeah,
out.
I know. It's
But
I know.
They won, the Defin guys won the bodysurfing and the fin sprint, and there's no beating that, is there?
Yeah. And so we got the Budgie Boys, Newcastle Bodysurfers as well, new team on the scene. Kind of been bodysurfing for a while, but new for the competition.
Yeah.
Defin Hawaii, Lower North Shore Bodysurfers, Maroubra Bodysurfers, Coogee Wampers, Cronulla Reef Kings. We got
Saturday morning bodysurf
Saturday
club.
Morning Bodysurf Club, which is different to the
All seasons.
the All Seasons, yeah, in which we always think they are the All Seasons.
I want some All Seasons merch.
Yeah,
so
the All
bad.
Seasons merch is really good. It's hard to get. I reckon we might have to wait until they start going, and we'll get it from the Oppie.
Oh,
Oppie, keep your eyes on Oppies.
how
boys.
long do you wait until you're ready to wake?
NBB, NBB.
Northern Beaches.
Northern Beaches. Okay,
Bodysurfers.
so I've just got side notes here that I
So
didn't write. The
That's a note
producers
too.
written those.
So originally, previous events, it's been the Northern Beaches Wampers.
Yep,
The Northern Beaches Bodysurfers are a completely
completely
new team.
different crew.
So
Yep.
Ricky's club is gone.
Hmm?
Oh no,
Belly-
sorry,
Belly's.
Belly's club is gone.
Yeah.
Belly's club is gone. I
They
don't
were
know
an
who's
OG
defected.
Wompoff team as well.
Yeah, there are a couple of individuals from that in the other one, but essentially a new squad.
So they're all the kind of teams that are around. So if you are listening and you're new to body surfing, there's always someone out there to be able to body surf with. Even if you're not involved in the event on the day, come down, Maroubra Beach. I actually don't know the date. What's the date?
Maroubra Beach.
17th of September. So the Australian Bodysurfing Classic 2022 at Maroubra Beach on the 17th of September. And we're thinking on the 16th of September of doing a little before party.
Yes, Timmy.
So stay tuned for that. We'll have some more info about that very soon. But Rikki, before we let you go, because I know this is a very busy time for you, I know it's a very stressful time for you, and you mentioned in 2019 when you were driving to Maroubra for WAMPOF 2019, you listened to the Bodysurf podcast and it calmed you down and it brought you some zen. And if you could tell yourself something to listen back to on that day, what would it be?
I'd have to get Jesse Mawson out again.
And hopefully he does another rendition. I mean, as he said, it's a bit hard. He said on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, it's a bit hard to roll off the tongue of the Australian Bodysurfing Classic. Doesn't quite have the same ring as the
Look, he's a talented fellow.
Yeah.
I'm sure he can pull something out of the bag. And,
Yeah.
You know, we are referring to it a lot as the ABC, so I think he can work with that and pull off some magic.
There's a communist party with that same abbreviation.
And you were recently on the ABC, as a side note, just before your exit.
True.
I mean, I was meant to be on it as well, surfing, but apparently they thought the footage wasn't quite up to scratch.
They used zero footage.
Yes, that's right.
from that
I had a terrible earache that day, and I braved the water just for the footage, and they didn't use any of it.
That's so funny about TV, isn't it? Like we did for that. It was essentially 2 minutes
Yeah.
on that ABC show, and like we filmed with you guys in the morning, and then filmed into the afternoon with them. So essentially did a full day's worth of filming.
Yeah.
For 2 minutes of TV.
And I had this exact conversation with my wife, April, and I was going, how much cash does the ABC have if they filmed a 2-minute segment and they took the entire day to film that 2-minute segment? And I said, they had two cameramen, producer and the host.
Yeah, and sound guy.
Yeah, and sound
And
like
tech guy.
it's wild.
Yeah, if you paid tax, you'd be very upset. But I don't think any of us do, so we're all good. So the Australian Bodysurf Classic 2022 at Maroubra Beach on the 17th of September. Stay tuned for the before party on the 16th that the Budgie Boys are going to put together. Rikki Gilbey, thank you very much for being on the podcast. We're looking forward to the day. And we're looking forward to the after party.
Me too.
And it's a big day. It's an emotional day, and it's a very fun day. So we'll see you there, mate.
Yeah, just shout out to if anyone's listening who hasn't followed along or wants to know, like, check out our Instagram. What's Australian Bodysurfing Classic?
Yeah.
On Instagram, and you'll be able to see all the updates on there as to what's happening, what's going down, what the latest is. Follow it on there, and you'll be up to date.
Before we let you go, Ashley, we normally ask you towards the end of each episode that you're on, what's going to be new for WAW this year, next year? Anything cooking up there?
Right now, I'm focusing on Australian Bodysurfing Classic.
There's something there.
There's
something
mate.
there.
You got something going.
You normally can predict what it's going to be as well.
Yeah, I know. I don't have any predictions this time. Although, like, mate, what about the 2-part epoxy job I did on the timber wall, mate?
That looks pretty good.
It's good. I mean, it's not very sustainable, but
you took some advice of mine entirely incorrectly.
Yes.
But you did a fairly good
it
job.
came out good. And I tell you what, it actually rides pretty well. So, mate, you never know.
And Woofo and I have a DIY kit that we're itching to put together.
Yeah, when are they coming back?
We still have them.
We still have
They
them,
are
yeah.
back.
Yeah, I know, but when are they? When's the workshop coming back?
Yeah, that's a work in progress.
Yeah.
We're just going to do it in Woofo's
COVID put an end to
garage,
that,
yeah?
That's the plan.
Anywho's, we got to get out of here. Do it again real soon. But remember,
It's always overhead when you're body surfing.
you, mate.
See ya.